every laugh, every smile, every hug, every kiss, every touch, every person in my life that I care about and love. But wait, maybe I'm getting too emotional. That's exactly what they say you ain't supposed to do. Suppress your feelings, never talk about your pain. Can't appreciate the sun without acknowledging it rains, right? That's right. So this a moment of clarity. And make sure you always protect your energy. You stay focused and your life gon' be lit. And you are now rocking with Celeste, the therapist. Let's go.
Hi, beautiful people. If you are watching me on the replay right now, thank you so much for watching me. I truly appreciate you. My name is Celeste. I'm a therapist from Boston, and I come on video 5 days a week right now where I'm talking to somebody that's doing things to empower the lives of others. This talk that I do, I've started it since 2018. I actually have a podcast called Celeste the Therapist Podcast. And on that podcast, there's over 200 now. There's 201 episodes that can like help you get empowered. I think there's something powerful about hearing somebody else's story. And the reason why I decided to create it is because I really wanted people to know like there's more than one way to heal, and healing is not linear. There's a lot of zigzags that we go through. And sometimes it's hard to know that when it feels like everybody is like on this road of living their best life. You know, when you look at social media, I think sometimes we get confused, like, well, what about me? And so I never want people to get stuck. I really want people to see like they can do it. Hey, Missy. So before we start really quick, I just wanted to show you guys this crisis text line, 741-741. Stay connected. Get connected to a crisis counselor. I also want people, you know, to check out their local government website or state website to just kind of see if there's any services, especially if you're struggling. I know a lot of cities have like a emergency like hotline. Where you can kind of get information. So I really want people to kind of tap into those services and not like struggle alone. That's important. Also, there is this free wellness will assessment. I break down these areas of our lives on video. There's a 10-minute video you can watch. One thing about us is that we tend to get stuck. And as we get stuck, we don't really make any plans to get unstuck. And so because of that, I think it's hard for us to really work on the areas of our lives. So with this wellness assessment, you can actually understand like what each area means and how it relates to you, and think about doing it on a regular basis. So like I'm overwhelmed. Why am I overwhelmed? And really kind of like breaking down the areas of your life to kind of get more information to help you get to a point of healing in that area. So today I have a special guest. You know, every week we have a special guest. Hey, Gary. And I'm going to add her to the stream. Let me see. Let's add her to the stream. Hello. Can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Hello. Yes. Thank you, Celeste, for having me. My name is Zakiya Moton. I am a leadership coach, trainer, and consultant. I am devoted to cultivating the leadership pipeline. I'm the author of Up Level Breaking the Power of Stagnation and the Journey to Up Level. And it's a set that helps readers identify the cycles that have kept them bound, but it also gives them strategies that help them move into becoming the best version of themselves. And so I help clients in my coaching and consulting business to focus on how to be better leaders. And so my motto in life is the gift you have received, give as a gift. And so that's what we do at Up Level Leaders.
Oh, that's awesome. So Up Level Leaders is something that you started. Why did you start Up Level Leaders?
So let me just define the word up level. So for me, up level means to transform and grow in an area or areas that you were previously stagnant lifeless, not growing, flowing, or developing, really being the best version of yourself at any given moment. And the reason that we started, my husband and I are co-founders of it. The reason that we started it is because I've been in leadership positions since I could remember, being trained through school. And I just encountered some leaders that were not very whole. And then I encountered leaders who were whole. And so I figured if we can figure out how to develop leaders within the families, then we could change the trajectory and the outcome of how leadership is done outside of the home. And so that's what we focus on. Like, we are in an executive coaching and executive coaching and management consulting firm. We're devoted to helping vision-focused leaders within families and organizations maximize their impact. We're committed to authentic connections through collaborations and social impact. And so we just want to be able to help leaders create structure for their vision and help them build strong foundations or repair broken foundations.
When you say like you've met people that were whole and not whole, can you explain what that means for somebody that may not understand that part?
Yeah, so very broken and messed up. So in a nutshell, have you ever had a boss who you was like, you're crazy? And you literally meant that. And so they bring all their unresolved issues into whatever role they are, whether they're a pastor. So let's
Sorry. You're right. No, Zakiya, you're right. I met some crazy bosses.
They want to come to work stressing you out because they have unresolved issues at home with their spouse or, their children. They want to come boss you around because nobody at home is listening.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. So if we heal the inner trauma from our childhood, from our families, from our experiences, then that helps us to be better people, which means we lead better, and then we develop leaders instead of developing more broken people.
Yes. And then I think like with the leaders being broken and trying to like lead people, then we end up being broken and miserable at our job and our career. So that's where you come into play with the leaders. How does that work? How do you work with the leader? Are they willing to work with you, or is it like reluctancy? How does that work with you?
You can't just go tell people they're broken.
Yeah. I know that.
Okay, no, you already know that from a perspective. But you talk about, I go in from an asset-based perspective, like your strengths, like what is it that you're doing very good within your family or within your organization? And then how do we find the resources and the partnerships and address the gaps where you are weak? It's not a SWOT analysis like people do SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, like in consulting or businesses, but it's our own version of that, where we really, really focus on the strengths and how to like address those gaps and deal with the barriers that's stopping you from being the best version of yourself.
No, that's good. And I know now that so COVID has happened, we're in the middle of a pandemic. It sounds like you're very like family oriented based. Like that's your thing. Because if we can work with the leaders, I think it builds stronger families. That's something that you truly believe. How have you kind of pivoted or shifted your way of doing things now that we're confined to our homes?
Well, for me personally, because I'm full-time in our business, much didn't change except for our son didn't go to daycare, which means I don't have uninterrupted work time. And so figuring out how to keep him engaged, and my husband is home full-time, working from home, but he's really working from home, so it's probably like him. We're just trying to figure out our family rhythm every day. And so I'm a recovering control freak and recovering perfectionist. And I like order. I like structure. I like a schedule. I like things to go how I plan them. I plan things in my mind. I put them on paper. I put them on the computer. I put them in the calendar. And I just want them to go like that. And
it doesn't work all the time, does it?
It's not working at all right now. It's not working.
Did your recovery start in pandemic phase? Is that when you started your recovery? Because everything is just upside down right now. Oh my God.
It's very uncertain.
Yeah.
And so we've been figuring out our family rhythm day by day. And I know there are a lot of women who are out there like me, who are moms or working from home, who are wives. And I just try to encourage them to find your family rhythm, whatever that is, not focus so much on the perfection or your kids getting 5 hours of homeschooling in, or you responding to emails by a certain amount of time. Just whatever your rhythm is for that day, just go with it. It relieves so much stress. It is it makes me a better person. I'm not frustrated very often when I do that, but when I try to do all my checklists, it just didn't do well. And so some of the things that I've been thinking about, ways we've come up with some creative ways to kind of engage families. On Wednesday, we do a family devotion because I believe that if we set our spiritual foundations in our families and start our children off young and learning scripture, learning song, that when the world is chaotic, they can create their own internal peace.
Yes.
And so we have to be that example. We don't, I am a firm believer that I'm not going to be the reason. My husband is not going to be the reason our son needs to go to somebody like Celeste.
Right.
So you can affect how they do chaos. Chaos is going on all around. They could see you strive and go well and flow with it and break down and build back up, or they can see you depressed and then become angry and they think it's their fault and they're still trying to figure out why they can't go outside, why their school year ended. It's unfair to them. So as the parents, it's our responsibility to set some foundations in place. And we do that by, having time every day that we study the Bible, whether it's a fun scripture, a fun Sunday school song. And so every Wednesday we do that on my Facebook page, Zakiya Moton, at 3:30 Central Time. And then on Fridays, we do a family fun night on Zoom. Like we've done bingo, we've done scavenger hunts with different families. We did a family exercise. We did taboo. So it's just a way to kind of release from the week and get engaged.
That's awesome. How do you think having that family time can help families like that? It sounds like it's an intentional thing that you have to do in order for you to try to work on creating that time together. How do you think that helps families?
I think it helps to create a structure and a balance for you as the parents as well as for the children. Even though it's not very structured, it helps them, like I said, to one, know that you can have fun regardless of what's going on. We just got to have fun. We got to enjoy ourselves. There has to be some joy. And then the spiritual piece allows us to have peace even in uncertainty.
Yeah, no, that's good. Now you came up with this acronym pivot. There's a something that you wanted to express about this word pivot. Explain what that is.
Yeah. So one, before I get that, I forgot. I just started this yesterday, so I forgot. So it's called Time with My Father on Monday, every day through the end of May. I'm inviting moms and wives to get on Zoom with me from 5:45 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. just to get back in the presence of God and the relationship of a father-daughter as opposed to a mother and wife. You're looking like that's super early. But
no, well, for me, it's not as early because you're Central Time.
Yeah.
The kids in Chicago.
It's intentional because at that time of morning, even at 6:45 to 7:15 Eastern Time, your family probably is still asleep. So it allows you to get up and spend time with God and let him love on you as his daughter before you go into your role as a mom or a wife.
That's good. And I like the fact of the intentionality behind it and a plan to start your day before. I tell people, even when they start work, to try to do something before work, not just jump into work. Try to clear your mind. So that sounds good. How did that go yesterday? You started it yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday and this morning it went really well. I tell people, even if you got to go back to sleep like I did the last 2 days, get up and join me.
Oh, good.
At least you can start your day like I've spent time in God and not feeling guilty, like I wake up fixing breakfast and checking emails and didn't give God the time So
Right.
yeah.
And I think that if we're not intentional about our spiritual health, whatever that looks like for you, it's easy for us to get sucked into society with the chaos,
Yes.
right? I think the chaos can become part of like our life, and the spiritual part is kind of to the wayside because we haven't made time to create that space.
Absolutely.
That's really good. All right, I want to hear about pivot.
So pivot. I want us to figure out. I wanted to give us a solution on how we could make our family time more productive. How we could make the most out of our time with shelter in place. And I know some kids won't have summer school or summer programs. And so P is one. Plant the vision. I think that every family needs a family vision, and you come up with that vision together. Like that's the foundation of everything that I do as a coach and a consultant, whether it's a vision for your family or a vision for your organization. You have to start with the end in mind. So that's what the P is, plant the vision. And I believe that you shouldn't do your personal vision until you have a family vision, because everything should flow out of your family vision as individual and a family unit.
Mm-hmm.
I is incorporate flexibility. We talked about that a little bit. We're used to having the answers. Some of us, we like to have the answers. We don't feel good when we have the answers, and it just creates so much tension and frustration within our relationships when we're trying to figure it out. But if you're more flexible and breathe a little bit, it creates space and opportunity for other people to help you find the
Yeah.
answer, whether it's your
Yeah.
children. I believe children are part of the solution. Like our son is 3 years old, and people think he runs our house. Like he doesn't, but he does. But it's because our parenting is very different from, just imagine Bella on like 10.
Shoot me now.
Yes. Nurturing him helps to guide us. How we nurture him helps to guide us. And so if he wants to do certain things, we try to be flexible in that, even if we need to check emails or we have a call. My husband and I are very good. Like sometimes he works the day shift and I work the night shift while being at home together. But we have to just be flexible, even in being intentional on our separate time together.
Mm-hmm.
V is value the moments.
I like that one.
We have to value, like, it could be, people think this is like a bad time, but I think it's a great time that you and your entire family unit is together.
Mm-hmm.
That you could create moments that you wouldn't have been able to create because you were stuck on your schedule for work, for school, for after school activities and sports, church, and just in this routine, that you get to create moments and you get to nurture your children in a way that you could have missed if we didn't have these moments at home together. So for instance, he got in Vaseline yesterday.
Which kid hasn't gotten in Vaseline?
But I thought I learned my lesson because it wasn't the first time. I did it up this time. And so my husband didn't yell at me. He was a great teammate. He was like, I didn't let this happen, but I'm going to help you. So he took him, and it took an hour to get him all unvaselined. He still has got. I have to clean the room. Like, it's on the windows, it's on the bed, the linen, the chair, the carpet. I'm still cleaning Vaseline. But I took a moment. I didn't even yell. I was just like, let me record this. Because
it's the I, right? Incorporating flexibility.
Yes. So I had to value that very inconvenient moment yesterday. So value the moment. And he laughed, and he just saw nothing wrong with it. And so we laughed together. O is omits impatience.
What does that mean?
There is no time to be impatient with people are at work. There's no time to be impatient. We have to practice patience. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
being intentional and being patient. I
Yeah.
could have easily flipped off yesterday because I literally had a lot of work to do, but what was that gonna do? But
Nothing.
take all this negative energy that would have had to, figure out how to get it out the house then once I created it. So just be more patient with yourself too. Don't be so impatient with yourself. I think we need to be more gracious and more gentle with ourselves. I think we need to tell ourselves positive things about ourselves. Like some of the things, the self-talk that we do, we would never say that to our children
Absolutely.
or our spouse. We would never say those things. And so I think we just need to be patient with ourselves, patient with others too.
Mm-hmm.
And then T is tailor your day. And we talked a little bit about that as well, about finding your family rhythm. So, what exactly does your day look like? Yes, you may have goals. You can't have, if you're used to having 20 things on your to do list, you probably only need to have five realistically that you could get done. As it relates to your day, but they should all be tailored to what your family vision is. It goes back to the vision. So if you're helping your children, it goes towards something related to the family vision. If you are doing something related to work or ministry, it all goes back to the family vision. So your day, your goals, your activities, they are all coordinated back to the foundation of who you are as a family and an individual. So be focused in your pivot.
Oh, I love that. And I think with the vision, I don't think most of us have really sat down and thought about the vision. And if you're listening to this and you don't have a family unit in your home, it's just you, I feel like you should even have a vision for yourself, right? And the same information applies to you,
Mhm.
about the incorporating the flexibility, valuing the moment, making sure you're patient with yourself. I think that's huge. A lot of us, I think because of a lot of the things that we've gone through, we've been affected in a negative way. And so we beat ourselves up instead of saying, you know what, this happened. And now, you have these sort of habits, but you got to work on changing them. And I think we get stuck because we're not patient with ourselves.
I
Um,
totally agree.
mhm.
And so, as it relates to that self talk, if you don't, I have a free gift for your audience. Um, I believe in speaking life into yourself and speaking life into your children and your family. And so, part of my journal, I'm going to give away the declarations and decrees that you guys could pray and read over yourself, your family. It even teaches you how to write your own declarations, and it tells you the difference between, like what a declaration is and how do you do it. So if you go to my website, zakiyamoton.com, and put in your email address, we will send you a copy of the declarations and decrees.
Tell people the importance of the declaration. It sounds like you're talking about affirmations, right? Is
Yeah,
it
so
similar?
spiritually, we call them declarations.
Hmm.
It's literally the word of God that we speak over ourselves, coming into agreement with what God says about us.
Hmm.
It kind of counteracts the negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And it teaches your children how to do the same for themselves, even though
Hmm.
they may not know what's going on, or you can help them create their own. It can be a family activity.
I love that. And you are feeding your spirit. I think, like, I tell people when we're hungry, we go to the refrigerator and we grab food. And
Mhm.
when our spirit is empty, or when we're feeling down, or when we're, feeling our self esteem or whatever, it's because our spirit's not filled. And I don't think we do enough to fill it. And so having these declarations that you're kind of saying every day can really like help feed your spirit, and like doing it even when you're feeling good. I think it's important to always like keep your spirit full.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's
You
it.
do it daily, not just when on a bad day. You do it daily because
Yeah.
on a bad day you might not be able to physically do it.
Yeah.
So do it so it's in your spirit, and then your mind just automatically does it.
Yes, you're speaking my language, Zakiya. Now, this was an amazing conversation. You're doing amazing things. There's so many ways people can tap into you, but I want you, because you talk a lot about leadership and family. I want you to kind of give my audience who's listening to this some takeaways, like some tips. I know a lot of people are feeling stuck. One of the things that I got out of what you said today is the beauty and the struggle, right? Because right now, like, there's a lot of struggle happening, but trying to pull out the moments where you can celebrate or where you can be intentional on creating that time is going to be important, but you have to shift your thinking around it in order for it to happen. So can you just kind of give us a little bit of takeaways so we can kind of start this process at home?
Yes. So I would suggest one. I gave you the pivot, and that's exactly what that's the suggestion that I give. Have an end in mind. You know what it is that you desire for your life to look like outside of this pandemic. You may have had this vision when you were a child. I want people to dream again and not have limited beliefs or limited expectations around what possibilities are, regardless of what people are saying, or regardless of what the news is saying about what's happening in the world. So I want you to dream again, be a little bit freer and a little bit kinder to yourself, with yourself, and enjoy the time that you will never get back. You don't want to be the reason that your kids end up going to see Celeste, and you have control over that.
Zakiya,
Yes.
somebody just called in it, and I didn't hear anything you just said, but
The audience heard it.
my audience heard it, and I know it was good because I'm going to listen to it when I edit this episode tonight to put on the podcast. So this part will be out. We're going to cut this part out. They won't even know this happened.
I love it.
Thank you. Missy says she heard it.
Yes, thank you, Missy.
Thank you, Missy. No, I listen to all my episodes again when I edit it, so I'm gonna edit this part out. But I'm sure it was bomb. I'm gonna text you and let you know, girl. I heard that. I receive it.
Yes, dream again. Dream again.
Zakiya, thank you so much for your insight. You're so bubbly. Every time I see you, you're always bubbly. I think it takes a lot to work with leaders and families, like to have a passion. I started after I graduated doing family therapy, and I didn't like it. It felt like a lot of work. But I know like there's something for everyone, right? I like individual adults, and you like families, and we need you. So I know that my audience is gonna find a value in what you have talked about today, because I know I have. Even I think the vision thing actually like struck a chord for me, because I never thought about a family vision. You know, I know what my like business and professional vision looks like, and like where I see myself, but I never actually sat down to think about like what the family vision looks like. So I'm going to get that declaration, and I'm going to start this journey that you just talked about. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
Bye.
Oh, she was awesome. I love her. She's so sweet. Let me change this part so you guys can see me. Thank you guys for listening. I'm using my Apple computer and the call came in and it completely knocked me out. But I'm glad Zakiya was good. She kept rolling with it. I know she was probably like, what in the world is going on? This girl got me on here by myself. Thank you, Missy. I know she said this girl got me on here by myself. But she kept rolling with it. I'm going to listen to what she said when I start editing it. But thank you guys so much. So don't forget, you can follow me on all social media platforms. Also, I would love to hear from you guys. Some people, social media is not the best way to connect. So you can always connect with me through text, 508-327-8237. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on YouTube, Twitter, like literally everywhere. I would love to hear from you, hear how you feel about the episode. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, to talk to somebody else that's empowering other people. And if you ever want to be on the show or have a show idea, please connect with me. And I would love to have you on. I love highlighting people. I love sharing dope stories, and I love helping people heal. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later.
Every laugh, every smile, every hug, every kiss, every touch, every person in my life that I care about and love. But wait, maybe Maybe I'm getting too emotional. That's exactly what they say you ain't supposed to do. Suppress your feelings, never talk about your pain. Can't appreciate the sun without acknowledging it rains, right? That's right. So this a moment of clarity. And make sure you always protect your energy. You stay focused and your life gon' be lit. And you are now rocking